There's the chemicals that take us higher. The night's young, it has just begun. As she puts her hand in mine, we wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all.
Thank you for joining us this evening and welcome to the West Indies Cricket Development Academy TV. Welcome to the Caribbean Cricket Show. As you can see on your screen, it's an awesome and glorious win by the West Indies today, the third consecutive T20 win by West Indies today over South Africa in this series. Now, we and South Africa have played since the year start 70 T20 international, and West Indies have won 6 of them. But the most devastating one that we lost was that quarter-final match, and the fans in South Africa will continue to boast by that victory. But there's no doubt that West Indies continue to exercise commanding victories over South Africa in T20 series, and we have played them more than any other team. Them and England, we have played more than any other team in world cricket, and we're very, very happy that West Indies are winning. And once again, to all the viewers from all over the world, a pleasant good morning to those in India, in Australia, in New Zealand, and in other parts of Asia. Also in England, good morning to you as well. Early in the morning, but we thank you all for joining us. In the rest of the Caribbean, good night to you also in the United States, and thank you for joining us here on this channel as we now look to review what has happened in this game tonight, as we promised this morning, and we are back this evening to review. I have with me, as per usual, the Honorary Secretary, as you can see on your screen, the Honorary Secretary of the Cricket Hall of Fame, Mr. Dale Brown. He's a sport journalist across the sports discipline, and as you are seeing there, the Cricket Hall of Fame is our main partners. We also have the President of Cricket Show USA, Mr. Leon Francis, with us. We also have his co-host, Mr. Dennis Eat, who was with us this morning and returned back for this show tonight. We also have Hall of Famer John Melbourne, after being away from us for some shows, as you know, returned back in fine style for us this evening as we look to review this awesome game that we all come to love. Once again, to the viewers that are on already, remember to like the stream, and if you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do so right now. And also, please share the stream across your social media, on your Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok. Just share the stream so others can see and hear what we have to say in and round about West Indies cricket. Starting with Hall of Famer John Melbourne calling for the inclusion of Alec Athenes. How impressed are you in these three T20 internationals? How he goes about it at the top of the order, replacing um, Johnson Charles, opening the batting. By the own admission of Shea Hope, he feels comfortable batting with Alec Athens. How impressed are you with his performances in these three T20 internationals? Are the first two of the three T20 internationals?
Well, a very good afternoon, certainly, to the West Indies Cricket Development Academy TV. Welcome, and to the listeners, to my panelists, a very good afternoon. And thank you so much, Junior, for inviting me back again to this platform. Put it simply, I have always been an Alec Athens disciple. And I am happy to see him getting some runs, getting an opportunity to play, and getting some runs to confirm what I've been saying all along, that he should be in any West Indies 11. Also, Casey Carty, can't figure why he's not being selected in all formats. But yes, he didn't score well today, but that's cricket. I don't expect a batsman to make runs every time he goes to the wicket, but then you want to see consistency in his innings, and certainly he has given us two pretty good innings in the 3-game series, and kudos to him. The last time I was with the with our panelists, I think it was Dale who mentioned that maybe this third game was an opportunity to make some changes, and yes, some changes were made with Ruston Chase, skipper in the team, and Robman Powell sitting. Also sitting were Sherfield Rutherford and who else was it? And Shamar Joseph. Of course, they were replaced by Shimron Hetmeyer, Fabian Allen, and Obed McCoy. Obed McCoy, again, for me, disappointed in the one over he bowled. I don't want to throw him out with the bathwater yet, but he has not so far lived up to my expectations in the last couple of games I've seen him play. And so hopefully he will settle down and produce for us what I think he has. But a good win for the West Indies, sweeping the series, and as you say, as I say, it is good to see Alec Athens in there opening the batting. Can it carry over to the test match? And this is one of the things, one of my problems with West Indies cricket, where they have sometimes they have batsmen batting all over the place, depending on the format. And I don't know how it affects their consistency. But with our test captain having some problems now at the wicket and getting on in years, it could be time for us to look at Alec Athens opening the innings now with Mikhail Louis at the test level. But we shall see what happens in the next few series that we play. Back to you, Junior.
Absolutely. Thank you for your opening thoughts there, John Melbourne, Hall of Famer. And it's very interesting that you say that, because we want to get on Thursday right after the press conference, because press conference is promised to and they'll talk about the new selection policy, and we want to dissect for our viewers what that will mean going forward as it regards to West Indies cricket. Mr. Francis, I know by your admissions and previous talks, even in private, How impressed this series are you with um with Shamar Joseph? The Captain Rodman Powell gave him a commission and bowled him at the death over, at the absolute death over, the 17th and the 18th over in the two T20s that he played, and his execution was something to behold. How impressed are you with him coming over from the Test series and having to do it in the T20 game that we know is a far, far different game from the Test game?
Thank you, Mr. Coughlin, and good evening to the panelists and to our listeners abroad and near. I'm very impressed with Mr. Joseph. I'm a fan of his. I know that his early return was not that good. After bad IPL, won one game and I think a few overs. But I always like his spirit. He has the attitude of getting a wicket with every ball. When he's on the boundary, he feels with zest. He bats well when he gets an opportunity to do so. I'm impressed, and I think his lack of work, I just want to see his health improve. That cramp that he persists to have, I hope he gets find a means to get rid of that. But he's always a player that I like. I like his ability to bowl full and his ability to push that Yorker in between there, and sometimes you miss it. I can't forget that dismissal of Heat in Australia when he just knocked him back without, what a sensational delivery that was. But I'm happy for him. I hope that he continues to grow from strength to strength. Today he was not included in the side. He was rightfully rest, but he's going to play a major part in future West Indies cricket. About the win today, I'm happy for the victory because sometimes West Indies has a tendency of having won the series they lay down. I'm glad to see that Chase has been given an opportunity to captain, and Rovland took a rest, as well as Rutherford, and of course Fabian Allen was in. I love him in my side also, and he has the ability to take some spectacular catch and save a few runs. The run chase, I'm a little sometimes surprised about Athanaze because he's better than that, really. He tends to do the hard work, and when we look for him to carry on, he did not. Today, there was no need for him to be rushing it. He should have just taken his time and playing. And I like what I see in Hetmeyer. Hetmeyer he played some elegant strokes, and he was not, although he had a few playing misses, he still came back in the end and played a real good knock. I hope that he gets himself together and decide what he wants to do. He wants to be international only, or play some for West Indies and some in the IPL. But he is still a good player, and we should never cast him aside. A good victory for the West Indies, and I hope they continue and just don't build on what they have done by sweeping South Africa, and be prepared for Bangladesh and for, of course, England when they come later this year. Congratulations, West Indies. Keep on keeping on. Back to you, Mr. Codling.
Absolutely. Mr. Heath, this morning when we met, you talked about some changes and you included Sherman Hetmeyer in those changes, coming in for Captain Rodman Powell and batting in that position. How impressed are you with Hetmeyer? Him being a little rusty, but he stayed there to the end, and the partnership between him and Shea Hope, for the very first time in T20s, West Indies only accumulated 18 dot balls.
Mhm.
And that is thanks to the batting of Shea Hope and Sherman Meyer. Do you want to see this continuing, the good partnership between these two? And the commentators have pointed it out before, that before today's game, when these two come to bat, the singles, the twos, the threes, and the ones increase dramatically for the West Indies. Is Sherman Meyer the answer to West Indies that ball along with Shea Hope, in your view?
Pete, you're muted.
Good afternoon to all the viewers, listeners of the West Indies Development Cricket Academy, and also to my fellow panelists. Mr. Codlin, I am extremely satisfied with the performance of Shimron Meyer today. As you recall, I did speak about including him in the team today, and I'm very happy to see that he was included, and not only did he perform, but he performed brilliantly. I also noted that he was somewhat more cautious as opposed to his earlier innings where he would be flashing at almost everything. He was watchful today and performed admirably. So I like that combination of Edmeyer in the side. The question is, what will happen when we get to our next series? Because West Indies have a pattern of not utilizing their best players when they have series. And today's resting, I say resting because I don't know otherwise, of Captain Rovman Powell. Unless he has an injury, and I did not hear of an injury, then my belief that an error of judgment was made by West Indies to omit Powell. Obviously, we had a good showing from the vice captain, and he performed adequately as well. But in a situation like this, I do not believe that the captain and the vice captain should be rested without prior warning at least 2 or 3 days ahead rather than on the day. So I'm waiting to hear if Powell was injured, why he was not in the team. Secondly, I also think that an error in judgment was made by omitting Shamar Joseph, simply because Shamar Joseph has shown that he is developing his game with each match that he's involved in. If you look at his earlier matches where he somewhat struggled, now he's not struggling as much and he seems to have a rhythm going. So it is not the time to have rested him. Powell again doesn't play test matches. He plays just white ball cricket, and so he has not played any white ball cricket since the last, believe the World Cup. So it is, in my opinion, that resting was not the answer to Powell being omitted from the side, and I can only think that it was a big error in judgment and a big bad call from Cricket West Indies. Nonetheless, I'm happy with the performance of Shimron Meyer. He did very well, and I'm happy that he did not fail us, and we look forward to having him as a regular partner, as a regular player in the ongoing series that's yet to come. Back to you.
Honorary Secretary of the Hall of Fame, also a professor, where mind power is concerned. Sherman Meyer's being picked for the World Cup, how controversial that is. Not playing a game, had to sit out the two games coming into this series, no assurance that he would play, and the first and the second game went by. How much of a character does he have when we see him, despite of all those things and all the things that were said? He came out today and you saw that he wanted the strike, and he wanted to be there. How impressed are you with the character of Sherman Etmire today, Mr. Brown?
Thank you, Mr. Codlin, and greetings to the panelists and to all who are watching and listening to the channel. Shimron Hetmeyer is in a very difficult situation because when you don't get opportunities, or very few opportunities, whenever you get them, you have to be ready. Ready in that, not so much physically ready, but mentally ready. And today showed that he was in the right space. He was mentally ready and prepared for the challenge. And even though we won the game very easily, it is because of, well, Puran, we know what he did. But this partnership that he dominated with Sheho showed his class. And he made a few strokes. The only time when you hear the spectators use the term classic is when people like Shea Hope is batting, or he is batting, which shows the obvious class of this young man and the mental toughness that he exhibits and the resiliency. Because, as we say, if he comes out and doesn't perform, he doesn't know when he's going to get another chance. So he had to do it and do it in impressive fashion. He started off not really shaky, but you can see that he had to get his timing together, and he did that. So he's very impressive outing by him. And most importantly, they spoke about the dot ball rate for the top teams, which is usually anywhere from 35 to 38%. And if the West Indies, together with their power hitting, can get their dot ball rate in the 30s or very low 40s, will be almost unbeatable. And what Hetmeyer brought to the table today is to show what running between the wickets, being fast between the wickets, using his wrists to direct the ball into spaces where they can easily take off for a single. It's only a classy batsman that can do things like that. So on top of his resilience, his determination, his mental fortitude, his skill with the bat in hand, and the way he manipulated that bat and managed the bowling is most impressive. I'm very impressed with him. And he's a very good fielder to boot, even though he didn't get a chance to really show it today. But it's a thumbs up all the way around for Hetmeyer. And I would like to know how he prepared himself mentally for this challenge that he came up against today.
Absolutely. Glowing praise and deservingly for Sherman Etmire there. Hall of Famer John Melbourne, you're not a man that shied away from making your feelings known. Your comments on the returning Sherman Etmire and his effectiveness in today's important T20, making sure that we are able to cut any team throat that presents themselves before us, because if it was the other way around, South Africa would not have mercy on us. And so this game was almost a game that we needed to win to make sure that any question that South Africa is better than the West Indies is now closed. How impressed are you with Sherman Etmire ensuring that this is the case?
Melbourne.
Mr. Melbourne muted.
Muted.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, I am impressed with his performance today. And as a matter of fact, going back to when he captained the under 19 team, I always looked at him as a future West Indies captain. But it seemed as if he fell off a little bit between under 19 and getting to the senior level. But it was good to see him now demonstrating, if you want to put it that way, more maturity in this innings, not getting an opportunity in the World Cup, and as mentioned before, not playing in the first two games. The question is, going forward, what will West Indies do? Because does he come in now for Sherman, Sherfy, and Rutherford? Or certainly, I don't think Robman Paul will be out, and neither Shamar Joseph. So the only questionable position is maybe Sherfy and Rutherford.
But
Or
Rutherford would have already cemented his place.
well, or Gudakesh Moti did not have a good series, and that kind of surprised me. It's an interesting
Headache.
Headache for the team management to see how they go forward. As you mentioned, you have England coming in, and
Bangladesh.
we'll see how they do with the white ball series against England. But as I say, I looked at Shimron Hetmeyer going on to be captain of West Indies team at the senior level after winning at the under 19 level. Just that he seemed as if he fell off the cliff a little bit, but hopefully he can regain his and I don't think his desire, but it can serve West Indies well now going forward, and happy to see him back in the middle.
Mr. Francis, for a big player as Hetmeyer, his wife, very emotional. Him being picked for the World Cup and not playing in the World Cup. How tempting was it to be called now? And him saying to the selectors, you know what, I'm not coming, just forget about me. But being so humble and not playing in the first two games and having to come now in a truncated game and asked to perform and to perform in a manner which from the time he comes in, he's under pressure. He's under pressure to perform where the game situate is under pressure. Speak about, in your view, the characteristics of a Sherman Hetmeyer, something that we have not seen in him before, but we are now seeing. Is Sherman Hetmeyer now coming of age and being matured now, in your view?
In the past, my observation is that Hetmeyer was looking for greener pastures. When he got those big contracts in the IPL, he wanted to preserve them, and he made some excuse, in my view, not to be in the West Indies side. But
and before you continue, Mr. Francis, we have a lot of viewers on, and please let us know your thoughts in the comments. Please remember to like the video. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do so. We crave for your subscription. We crave for your like. We crave for you sharing this stream. And once again, you viewers, anywhere in the world you are watching, thank you for watching us. Continue, Mr. Francis.
yes, as I was saying, I believe in the early parts when he was getting these big contracts in the IPL, he favored those and kind of wasn't too concerned about being picked to West Indies. That's my view. We may not be so. But now he has realized that the opportunity is there because this guy was the captain on the 19 team, right? And he did well. He brought a championship. He led us well. And one was looking forward to him to be appointed a captain in the future. A captain in the future. It not worked out, but he himself didn't show much interest in West Indies cricket. He was satisfied with what he was getting, and now he has seen what he has lost, and he wants to get back. And today's innings will show that he's here to keep for keeps. I want to see him come back. I would say that he was a candidate, and he still can be a future candidate to be the captain of one of the formats in West Indies. I like the young man, and the crowd like him. He's a brilliant fielder. He has a good cricket mind, but sometimes he seems as if he doesn't take it seriously. He has a wealth of talent, and we want to see him back in the West Indies side. I think West Indies should be looking to say goodbye to Johnson Charles and even Russell. I'm telling you the truth. Should say bye and develop some younger players, and Hetmyer is one I feel can fit that role very much.
Yeah, it's very interesting that you say that. And one of our viewers say good night. Is Sherwin. He's always with us, and all of us here on the panel this evening, we say good night to you as well. Thank you for watching us as well. Please like the video while you're on. Mr. E, looking now at the standing captain today, Ruston Chase, Fabian Allen being brought in and not being utilized. How concerned are you? We have seen when Ruston Chase captains the team in Nepal, very near to the World Cup. Fabian Allen was hardly used by him in Nepal as well. How concerned are you with the leadership now of Ruston Chase? Notable a few times on the field while we watch, we have seen him and players not seen eye to eye. It's something that we should read into or we shouldn't read into it. Are you concerned by the leadership style of Ruston Chase so far, being a future captain for the West Indies?
I'm certainly not concerned at all at this stage, because today we had a lot of unplanned, unexpected distractions. And so the mode of attack that Ruston Chase applied today was one that he may well not have used had this been a regular 20-over match. That meant that he had to recalibrate his thoughts and ideas and get his mind functioning in the proper formation, because the match started, the rain prevented the full 20 overs from being bowled, and in the long run, that had meant that a recalibration had to be made. So I'm sorry that Alan did not get the opportunity. Hopefully he will get another shot at somewhere down the road, but I'm not concerned that Chase performance was in any way to blame for what has transpired. I think he did the best he could with what he had to deal with today.
And so for the captaincy today, out of 10, how much you would give him?
Well, I don't think I want to judge the captaincy today on the basis of a 13-over rain truncated match, because, as I said, the decisions he made today may well be a lot different had he had less to bother about, less to worry about, and different situation, because wet ball, wet pitch, ground situation, I don't think that one can judge him on the basis of today's. I'm happy that he did well, and came away with a victory. But judging him on today's performance is not something that I think should be applied.
Okay. Mr. Francis, a few in our comments here are calling your name and they are doing it for good reason. Um, Mr. Sherwin said here that um, Leon Francis, I agree, Russell and Charles should go. And he continued by saying, Mr. Francis, I also have been calling for Powell to go. If he can't bowl, he can't play as just a batsman. He's just not that good. Your response to those comments?
Well, I wouldn't discard Powell at this point. I think Powell has been doing a reasonably good job, but we should have an understudy, someone is permanent. They had Joseph. I think Hetmyer, if he decides to dedicate himself to represent the West Indies, he should be the one that we should try and train. I don't see enough about Chase, but and he is, to me, sometimes you'll get a good innings from him, you'll get a good bowling performance, but to me, I would prefer to see Hetman in a position like that and the grooming for the captaincy. Powell has got to be more consistent. I just want to comment a little bit about the couple of catches that were dropped today too, because I feel that we ought to be able to be much sharper in the field. We should have bowled them out in the allotted time, at least use up the allotted overs and have a few more wickets and put more pressure on them today. We probably might not have had 116 to chase. But Powell, I say no. I think he has another World Cup to go, unless sickness comes in. But you should have someone understudy him that if he's sick, somebody ready to take over from him. And I like Hetmyer if he only dedicates himself to be. Sometimes I feel he's like he's not serious enough. And the guy has a bunch of talent. And if you do that, he should be a shoo-in, because I think they believe in him quite a bit in the IPL. And it's not easy for you to get the recognition and give him the opportunity as much in the IPL as when you are, especially from a foreign country.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely. Mr. Brown, 2 years captaincy, losing only one series, and that was against Australia earlier this year. Would you remove one of the best captain West Indies have seen in T20 cricket at this time?
And you're speaking about Powell?
Absolutely.
Oh, no, it wouldn't even cross my mind to remove him. One of the problems facing the team, and that has kept Hetmyer out of the team, it's not Rutherford. I don't know where all of that came from. It's actually our number 4 batsman, the batsman that Mr. Haynes is comparing to Marlon Samuels. And we see a total difference in class between Hetmyer and Chase.
Absolutely.
Complete difference. Now, if we are going to say because Chase can bowl, well then bat him at number 8 or number 7. But for me, he's not a number 4 batsman in the one day in the T20 setup. Simply not. And you could see the difference today in class between him and Hetmyer. Rutherford has proven himself consistently. And one of the things that the rest of the world does, they like to have a sixth option in the bowling unit. And that sixth option is Rust and Chase. But if you watch all the teams in the world, including India, who won the World Cup, Jadeja is their sixth option. He's lucky if he gets one over. but his batting and his fielding alone is warrants him a place in the team. I don't think it's the same case with Ruston Chase. You know, people may not like to hear it, but it is the simple truth. And Hetmeyer is a better batsman, has been marginalized for the past few years. I remember when they had rescheduled a flight for him on his way to Australia, and somehow he missed the flight to Australia. And to me, from that time, he has been punished. You know, when we were going into the World ODI World Cup qualifiers, we were told by the then chief selector that he did not wish to disturb the camaraderie that the team was showing at that time. What are you talking about? I would love to know if anybody ever sat down with this young man and tried to see what's going on in his head, if he has any problem, and try to help him rather than take the easy way out and punish him, because that is what they have done. It's a very simple thing. They're punishing him. And that's why he's not in the team. We heard that he wasn't, Chase had to play over him because Chase is the new Marlon Samuels. I didn't know when Chase changed his name, you know, to even compare him with Marlon Samuels as a legendary one-day player, you know. And just permit me to say this. The same chief selector mentioned that Joshua De Silva, Alec Athanase, and Brandon King, in addition to the current captains, were being groomed for captaincy, for leadership, with whatever announcement they come out with this Thursday. I would love for the Chief of Cricket West Indies to address issues like that, because we see that Haynes is not there anymore. Then what is the attitude toward those players, and who are you looking for to groom as potential captains for the West Indies in all formats?
Yeah, absolutely, because it seems as if you know, Brandon King was second in command based on what we have seen in the series before, because yeah, we're back on now. We are having some internet issues, some serious. We're having some serious internet issues while things are eating up in the comments as well, because we gather not many agree with what we are saying, but we are close watchers of the game, and this is our observation. But Mr. Brown, back to what we are saying, that Ruston Chase was in the team when Brandon King was chosen as the captain, when Powell was unavailable at this time. So the captaincy, yeah, right, he's injured. So the captaincy now goes to Ruston Chase. We are having poor internet here.
We hear you clearly, you know.
Yeah, a little
Yeah,
in
man.
and out from my end.
We are hearing you clearly.
Yeah, but on YouTube we are not being.
Oh,
In live.
Yeah. But let me read a few comments here and let you continue for a moment, Mr. Brown, because it seems like we're gonna have to wrap up in another 5 minutes because we're having terrible internet issue here. But
Yes, you're
just a few.
intermittent.
Yeah. Just a few comments here. Hold on till we back on. I'm using another monitor, so I'm able to know when. Right. Joshua De Silva must be our next test captain, and Brandon King is not a test player. Hope is not a test player. I'm not sure all these comments are justifiable with what we are dealing with at the moment. But your quick comment on or you continue on the point that you were making in regards to the lack of vision as it regards. I gather what you were trying to say is that now Ains is out. You're wondering what the new policy will be towards these players that are considered future leaders. That's what you're trying to say.
Yes, sir. Definitely. And even we know that they are trying to separate players according to formats. He's a one-day player, he's a T20 player. And it seems as if that is also now spilling over into the captaincy, because T20 captain, if Hope is the 50 over captain and is the vice captain for the T, I don't know why you wouldn't put Hope in as a stopgap captain for just this one game. I just don't understand the reasoning and the thinking about it, because what that is telling me is that whoever captains the team, more than likely their place is going to be assured and more sure than others. And that is what puzzles me, because I don't understand how you're going to say that this player is a sure pick in the team. There's very few sure picks in the team.
Yeah. Hall of Famer Melbourne, your thoughts on that?
Well, I have always felt that there should be a core, maybe 17 or 18 players who play all formats of the game for West Indies. I don't think West Indies have the talent right now to be selecting 3 different teams or players for 3 different teams. And just like how I look at India, and I see Test cricketers playing T20 and one-day international, I can't see why the same can't be for West Indies. Now I know that there are some players who I guess don't want to play Test cricket, and so there goes the problem for the selection. But I would, as I say, have a core of maybe 17 or 18 players, from which I select the Test team, the one-day international team, and the T20 team. As far as the captaincy goes, I'm not sure in the direction. But let me just back up a bit. West Indies, they selected this team to play 3 games against South Africa. When Des Haynes was chief selector, he would mention, well, this player wasn't selected because so and so and so and so. The only thing we heard about was Jason Holder, who they were arresting, and I guess Alzari Joseph. But what's the situation with Brandon King? Is he still injured?
Yes, he is.
Feeling the effects of that injury?
Yes, he
and
is.
if so, why isn't it mentioned? And the team that was selected to play today, why wasn't Rothman Powell in the team? Is he injured? It would be nice if our management was to, I don't know why they are afraid to mention, well, so-and-so is injured, he's unable to play, or whatever. But I'd like to see us when we're talking about this new selection panel, our selection process, I don't know how that is going to work yet, but we have to wait and see. But I think right now we are on a pretty good track. Hopefully we can maintain it and see not only the T20 team develop, but also the test team that they begin to step up to the plate. Back to you, Julia.
Yeah, we'll come back Thursday afternoon to dissect for you fans and articulate the new selection panel and also governance. We'll also look on the women's team that will be announced to go to the UAE to participate in the T20 World Cup for women. We'll have our panelists also with us to dissect those things as it regards to that for you. Mr. Eat, your closing words as we are having terrible internet issues and will be off pretty soon. Your closing words followed by the president of Cricket Show USA, Mr. Leon Francis.
Well, just to salute the West Indies team today for the performance and the victory, and hope that they will perform with the same sense of maturity, the same sense of how you do it in the next series against England coming in. And that series should be England this one, but I'm hoping that the team can step up to the plate and show what they have been displaying against South Africa and then some. Back to you.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Mr. Coughlin. Just want to mention I'm very impressed with the young quickie from South Africa, Mapapa, youngster. I like him. I think he has way to go. I want to say I often felt that the West Indies should have a weekly press conference. I mentioned that some years ago to Mr. Shallow. He didn't say yes, no, no. And I felt that they should have a channel from the West Indies Cricket Board which continue to play the past matches when West Indies were in their glory days. Let the youngsters see these matches over and over and over. You never can tell how it happened. I want to congratulate the West Indies on their series win. It's not often we get a clean sweep, but we'll take it whenever it comes. And just want to see that they prepare well for when Bangladesh and England comes our way. I hope they can do just as well. So good night to everyone, and just hope that all will be well until we see each other on Thursday evening, God's willing.
Absolutely. Hall of Famer John Melbourne, thank you for joining us. Honor Secretary, thank you. President of the Cricket Show, thank you for joining us. And Mr. Leon, Mr. Dennis Heath, thank you for joining and covering the 2024 T20 and Test series between West Indies and South Africa with us. Until Thursday, when we will meet again to dissect the governance, new selection policy, and the announcement of the women's team to play in the World Cup in the UAE. From all of us here at West Indies Cricket Development Academy, thank you for joining. All 40,000 of you, we have over 11,000 of you being with us throughout the test and this T20 series. Thank you, membership of the channel of almost 40,000 now. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for making this channel your home, and we are going to make a few announcements in the coming weeks as it regards to other channels, as we would have already started those discussions, and so you can have no stop cricket for you to dissect here on YouTube, which has the most following along with TikTok over the world, even better than traditional TV. Thank you for making this channel your home and your go-to cricket station on the internet. Once again, panelists, thank you for joining, and to all the fans from over the world, thank you as well. Goodbye for now.
We began to feel the
Goodbye.
Thank you.